Hi there, and it's me again, Audrina Lane, with the next chapter in Where Did Your Heart Go?, my debut novel. And we're up to chapter 44 this week, and you'll be pleased to know I'm feeling much better. So let's get started. Charlie wandered up the path, rang the bell and waited for Sarah to appear. All the while she hummed the tune to take my breath away, because in her mind her feet were still dancing the steps. "Hi Charlotte," Sarah said. "Mum said you were going to pop in." "Yes, I kind of need to talk to you about something," Charlotte said, stepping through into her second home. "Go through to the garden and I'll get you a drink," Sarah said, following her goddaughter through and pausing in the kitchen to grab some glasses of orange juice. The wine in the afternoon had given her a headache. Sarah gave Charlotte the juice and sat down opposite. "Mum lent me her diary from 1988, about the time she spent with James, when I was upset about Craig. She thought it might help for me to read her experiences. But now I've finished it, I need to know a few things." "About what?" Sarah asked, breathing in deeply. "Well, about New Year's Eve, really." "Okay, I'll try my best, but it's hard to talk about this stuff, as I felt at the time I'd let your mum down badly. I wish she had talked more about how she was feeling, and especially about the wedding invitation, when I was with her that afternoon, getting ready for our night out." Sarah paused. "Your dad was the first to alert us that she had run out of the club, so I grabbed Chris and the three of us ran to the house." "Go on," Charlotte urged, even though tears were already falling down her cheeks as she remembered the words in the diary. "Well, we found your mum in the bathtub. Chris managed to pull her out and wrap her in a towel so that Mark could start to revive her. We had no idea how long she'd been unconscious or whether she would make it, but Mark was so calm and ordered me and Chris about." Sarah passed the tissue to her goddaughter and paused for a moment, reliving the night again as if it was yesterday. "Did it take Mum long to recover?" Charlotte asked as she blew her nose. "Well, she was in hospital for about a week and then just had to wait for the scars to heal, and she had to have some physio to get her wrists working again." "No, I kind of meant in her mind. I need to know before the dance competition next weekend." "Why?" Sarah asked, her curiosity piqued by this turn of conversation. She watched as Charlotte wrestled with her revelation. "Well, Mitchell's dad is called James Cook," she declared, watching the colour drain from her aunt's face. "Fucking hell, how on earth did that happen?" Sarah said, amazed by the slim odds. "I know, it makes your brain reel if you think about it too much," Charlotte said. "So I'm guessing James will be at the dance competition next weekend?" "Yes, and they're staying in the same hotel as us, and I just don't know whether to tell Mum or just let her meet him there." "Christ, I don't know what to advise, but I guess that in answer to your previous question, I don't think your mum ever truly got over James, even when she was married to your dad. Sorry I had to say that to you, but I guess honesty is the best policy here." "I was hoping you might say that," Charlotte said. "James knows who my mum is. He guessed when I stayed there last weekend, and he's single now, and he said he made a mistake in ever letting her go, and I think he still loves her," Charlotte explained, draining the last drops of juice from her glass. She looked over at her aunt, who was still in shock with the news. It seemed they were both thinking the same thing. How would James react to finding out Steph nearly died because of him? "Thanks, Auntie Ra. I'm going to speak to Mitch this weekend and see what he thinks we should do." Okay, Charlie. I'll think on it too and let you know." "Can you keep it secret?" Charlie begged. "Yes. Mum's the word," Sarah said, giving Charlie a hug and kiss. "I'd better get going. I'm starving. All this dancing makes you hungry," she grinned. "You know where I am if you need me. Don't hesitate," Sarah said. "Thanks again. You're the best," Charlie shouted as she walked through the gate and home. Music was playing as Charlotte let herself in and past the kitchen towards the stairs. She saw her mum dancing around the island to some Savage Garden track and smiled. She really did look happy. Upstairs under the shower, Charlotte considered her aunt's word. It was good to know Sarah still thought her mum had feelings for James, but the whole suicide business was the curved ball, and Charlotte just didn't know what was for the best. After a lovely supper together, Charlie went upstairs to ponder all the repercussions of a reunion between James and Steph, and also to text Mitchell before she went to bed. It had become a lovely habit to exchange a couple of texts with Mitch before drifting off, and it always meant that Charlie had good dreams to fall into. The rest of the week seemed to fly by in the usual state of home life versus work life. I was enjoying work more than I ever had before. My Wednesday song from My Secret Admirer was Kokomo by the Beach Boys, so I joined in and played Holiday by Madonna. I also commented that the song was included in one of my favourite films, Cocktail, as I remembered sitting in the cinema with James and dreaming about making love on the beach and under the waterfall. The Thursday song was I Want Your Sex by George Michael, so I had a giggle with the guys in the studio, and in return I played We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off by Jermaine Stewart. Even Jack sent me over a text for that one, saying it was a class flirting rebuttal. As the sun shone on Friday morning, Charlotte burst into the kitchen early, bags flying. You do remember Mitchell is coming over today, and he's meeting me at college so he can join in with practice, and then bringing me home on his bike, she said, hardly stopping for breath. Yes, I hadn't forgotten. You've been reminding me all week. Do you want a lift this morning? Yes, please. I never realised how heavy bike helmets were, Charlotte said, gulping down her coffee and ending up with the hiccups, much to my amusement. In the background, Paul was on, and he had today's song choice from My Secret Admirer. I moved to turn the volume up and grabbed my phone so that I could reply. Morning, Stephanie. Your song from your mystery man today is She Wants to Dance With Me by Rick Astley. So give us a call or text and let me know if you want to send one in reply, Paul said, as the familiar tune started to fill the kitchen. Hi, Paul. Can you reply with Dancing on the Ceiling by Lionel Richie? OK, Steph. I've had an idea to ask our listeners if they think you should meet your secret admirer at the Rock on the River event. I paused to digest this information. A scared part of me wanted to say no, because if we never met, I would be saving myself getting hurt again. But on the other hand, maybe this was the time to be bold and go for it. OK, Paul, you have my permission to do a text vote on this, I replied, with a certain amount of trepidation. Cool, Steph, gotta go now as the song's nearly finished. See you later. He hung up and his voice returned to the airwaves. So, listeners, Stephanie's song back today is Dancing on the Ceiling by Lionel Richie, and I think we should decide whether Steph takes the plunge and meets her mystery man at our fabulous Rock on the River event. Drop us a text with a yes, and at the end of my show we'll announce the results, Paul said, as the song started to play. I gathered up my car keys and shouted to Charlotte, It's time to go, are you ready? Charlie wore her cut-off denims and a tight check shirt with her red mules and red lipstick, obviously to impress Mitchell, I thought privately. After dropping her off, the smell of her perfume still lingered in the car, as I drove home to do a quick spot of cleaning before Mitchell arrived. My mind was still trying to work out who my mystery man could be, and hoping that now I had agreed to a possible meeting, he wouldn't turn out to be awful. As I turned into my driveway, I saw a florist van and driver standing on the doorstep with a large bouquet of white carnations. Are you Mrs. Stephanie Eden? Yes, wow, what a nice surprise, I replied, signing the slip before the driver left. Juggling an armful of flowers and the door key, I managed to get inside and into the kitchen. I soon located the card and opened it to read the message enclosed. Stephanie, search your heart, search your soul, and when you find me there, you'll search no more, your secret admirer. I read it through and knew that the lines were from the Bryan Adams song, Everything I Do It for You. Quickly I searched through my cupboards and found a couple of vases to distribute the large bouquet. With some on the kitchen table, in the lounge, and even on the hallway desk, my house still looked full to brimming. The worrying thing was that my secret admirer had somehow found out my address, so I needed to make sure there was no one lurking around outside. Getting ready for work, I remembered the last flowers that had been delivered were for Mark's funeral, which had passed in a blur for me at the time. I decided I'd take a small posy of the carnations up to his grave on my way to work. I thought about the way Mark smiled and was always full of laughter despite the pressures of his job at the hospital. I wish now that I could make amends for not loving him as much as he loved me. It seemed my heart was waking up to the possibilities of a new love, as I made up my mind that this time I would allow my feelings to flow. 24 years was too long a time to keep my fragile heart boarded up. As I stood by the headstone, I ran my fingers over the cold stone, wishing Charlotte could have known her dad before he'd been taken from us. No one had ever been caught for the stabbing, and since then I'd never been back to the hospital, even though the radio and the wards held such happy memories for me. I turned away and took a quick glance at the winding river below, serene and peaceful in the sunshine. I looked up into the blue sky, hoping that Mark was looking down and wishing me the best for the future. So I hope you like that next chapter, and if you want to read ahead, don't forget you can go and buy yourself a copy. The ebook's only 99p, or about $1.40, and it's out on Amazon. And if you want a paperback copy, that's also on Amazon, or you can message me and I can arrange to have a autograph copy sent over to you. Anyway, take care and bye for now.